Then after the economy, what will be the next thing close to where they affect the economy? People
But
healthcare.
but you also remember it was bad. But you remember how hard it was to let that money out. You know, the so-called fiscal hawks. Where are they now? Right? You know, at that point we're penny wise pound foolish. We're counting pennies. You know how the what do you call it? The national debt is increasing and the clock is ticking, right? Um, and again, it's always, you always have to remember who, when it comes to this kind of bailouts, right? Who it's impacting, right? So when the 2008 bubble burst, it was you and I, the quote unquote middle class, all right? So they're no send, right? At that point, it's like, yeah, why waste money on the middle class? But this is the middle class when any small thing happens, now they come and squeeze middle class, right? When it comes to taxes, they squeeze the middle class. Everything has to be middle class. Now come and rescue middle class now. And it's like, oh no, we have to be fiscally responsible, right? I remember the time when you had to bail out the GM and Ford. This was to save people's jobs. And it's interesting because again, nobody's talking about it. But then they pay back. After we rescued them, they pay back and even more with interest. Yeah?
But the
Now,
current
because it's affecting the quote unquote corporations. Eh? All of a sudden it's like, yep. $2 trillion. Where do we sign? Here, take it and go. $2 trillion we're still not be able to account for how it was spent.
Anyway, we don't. I want to ask because of your view. This police killing for America here, you think is it racially motivated or is it just
I think
on a police brutality or police just need training?
I think it's racially motivated. I think the premise of the police force, even down to their training, is, yeah, I hate to say this, but it's almost, when you see a black man, you see a threat first before you see a human being. You understand what I'm saying?
What they call implicit bias, right?
Exactly. You know, I'm sorry though, but I think implicit bias has been baked into the way the police force has been trained. I don't know why that is. And again, we have to remember Clinton, who we all hail, had something to do with this when he unleashed 150,000 policemen into the wild. I guess crime was a big thing back then. I am sure there were other ways, if we really sat down to think it through, that we could have combated crime back then. But I guess for some reason, I felt that this was the best way.
The lady, the documentary 13th Amendment is actually based on the book where I think her name, the author Michelle Alexandra, she wrote a book called The New Jim Crow. If you read that book, you go know why. Because after Jimmy Carter, them perceive that they give Jimmy Carter name, say they weak. Of course, Reagan came in as like this law enforcement.
Mr. Yeah.
Then after Reagan do first term, he do second term. So even then, can you imagine? Then there was another Bush coming again. So Republicans ruled for like 12 years. So Democrat feels, why did they lose presidency? So because they don't hear news say because people trust Republican because they were tough on crime.
Tough on crime.
So a Democrat has been seen as being weak on crime. All right. So part of Bill Clinton's strategy is, okay, man, I don't say one place, then people trust us for economy, but one place where we don't get leg now issue of being solid on crime. So that's why Clinton had to come and prove that, man, he can play the tough game to be tough. They implemented so many of those rules.
Yeah, but that wasn't the right thing to do though, because then the police force expanded from then, right? So it's the same police force that you're supposed to protect, right? It's the same police force that is, that takes care of people who are mentally disabled. It's the same police force that has to handle, abuses and stuff. Police has to do what police is supposed to do, right? They can't be, jack of all trade, right? So if it's to serve and protect, then that's what they need to do, serve and protect. I know people have said, the being a cop is about the only career you can go through that you just need 5 months of training, and then that's it. You go to be a police, right? Everything else you have to go through 4-year college. I can come out of high school, train for 5 months, and I'm a police guy. Imagine that, right? I mean, but But then how mature are you, right? So I mean, we failed as a society to do what we need to do as far as policing in this country. I'm not saying that the cops are not useful. I'm not saying that there are no good policemen out there, but and I think we will touch on the whole subject of the brotherhood, within the same police, right? But if we're being candid, right, I don't know of any other serious position that involves life and death that you need 5 months to qualify, right? Even doctors, it takes them anywhere from 8 to 12 years, depending on what it is you want to do. Yeah. So just like people who do what they have to do in government have to be unbiased. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's always still some level of bias, but it's the same way with being a police in this country. I have to see as a human being first. I don't understand how the white kid will go into a church and wipe out 7 black people, and then they take him to McDonald's first, right? Um, and there's several instances like that. The kid who killed the children in Connecticut.
in Newtown.
Exactly. And then I remember, the conversation, the skit from Dave Chappelle, and the black guy who went on a rampage. He said they turned the guy into Swiss cheese. 400 cops on one person. How many people do you need to wipe out one individual, right? See, is that excessive use of force? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm going back to that visual image. I still today I still refuse to watch that video. I can't bring myself to. I mean, the picture for me has been enough. You have your your knee on somebody's neck.
Okay, the problem where I see even that George Floyd issue, you say they don't already cuff the guy, right? The guy has already been handcuffed.
He's cuffed. He's on the floor.
He's there on the floor. So I don't know which other, except the guy now who.
How else do you want to reprimand someone? How
I don't know, except if maybe the guy now Houdini waves say if you come out cuff, you put your neck.
Your knee on top.
Let's say maybe he was oblivious, not even conscious. In neck day, in knee day on the guy neck. People gather around, say, "Oh boy, leave this guy, leave him." The guy just jumped like, "Man, I don't care." His attitude was like, "I don't care what you guys said, man. My knee is going to be on this guy's neck."
If you, I think you can liken that to for hunters when they kill their prey. So you shouldn't, if you're not sure it's completely dead, right? There's a way with your knee on the animal, right, to incapacitate it before you put the final blow. That, to me, that's what this picture is, right? It is an animal that needs to be put down, right? I'm going to put my knee where it's going to hurt for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, right? And this is not the first instance. Look at the guy in I keep forgetting his name, Eric, right, in New York. Where was it?
Eric Gardner.
And if you watch several ways of how these guys reprimand black people, right? It's that use of force. When they put you on the ground, the knee on the victim, like the person is an animal. Yeah. So I can't see that. I don't think that there's implicit bias when it comes to the way they treat black people in this country.
It's
yeah. I mean, I understand the rage. I feel the rage. Like I said, I'm yet to meet a black person that I know that hasn't had a very distinct encounter with the police. I've told you my story now. We go group finish, we come back. My boy, white dude from Canada, very white, right? Driving at 3 a.m. in the morning. Guy was speeding, gets pulled over, right? I did passenger actually asleep, right? Officer comes over, taps on his window, wind down. Let me see your license and registration. Shines the torchlight, sees me on the other side. Like, in fact, hold that thought. Comes over to my side, knocks. Okay, at this point, I'm waking up. Wind down is like, let me see your license. Never know what I say. Na Twilight Zone with day. As in, I sleep, enter England. How steering week?
No, let Britico people hear you.
Say really where they come my front. Now my sleep at the drive, So I thought I was okay. I am, and it's the protocol. Okay, officer, I'm going to reach. I'm going to grab my wallet. I'm going to give you, my license. Right? He took my license, went back, ran it, came back, and then let the guy go with a warning. What? Eh? And it was later on, after talking to somebody who is familiar with this stuff, it's like, well, he ran it just to make sure that, just to see if you had a record. Because then if I had a record, completely different conversation. So it's that, oh, you are guilty until you're proven innocent. It's the same way where all these men are put down and then they have to go digging to see how much of an upstanding citizens they were, as if that justified their killing in the present. Were they doing anything bad when you killed them? What has what I did in the past got to do with who I am in the present? Yeah? Mm-hmm. But again, they do that to justify why the person has to be snuffed out. Now,
they still do it now. You know, so when they don't kill black man finish, they go on talk say they go to pull as they talk for Barack. Then waiting concerning blind man with NEPA. You don't kill somebody, you begin to say, oh, the guy been smoked the weed seller. So how that take concern how you kill them now?
I know. Same.
You get drug history.
Ferguson, how he boggled the store. Or Ahmad Aubrey, how he went, he had the past, I'm like, and it wasn't even proven, but they released the video for what? Just to discredit the human being and to, like credit the fact for the reason why the person had to be killed. For real? Really?
You remember that incident for South Carolina, Walter Scott?
Mm-hmm.
That way, he don't leave police, so he don't run. No, now the guy he shoot him for back.
Yep.
Say thank God say at least then convict that guy because he lied.
Yeah. It's the same way this man in Atlanta lied until the video came out. You understand? Right? He claimed the guy rushed him. I'm like, oh. But before why won't you have a shotgun pointed to him? But why won't you rush you? I am just generally minding my business, going for a jog. I become a target. Yeah, like so, it's open season on black men. I hate to say it, but it's what it is. I listened to Trevor Noah's latest kid and how he was talking about, okay, this change finally happened. I'm like, I don't know there's enough until there's legislation out there, that very detailed legislation. Because right now you can talk all you want. I mean, all this stuff is held in the Senate right now. Our resident Senate president, Mark Toad, Mark Frog, I thought he's a one color. Do nothing, Moscow. Do nothing, Moscow Mitch.
Somebody said Moscow Mitch the beach. It's funny how he loved to be called the Grand Ripper. I don't know.
Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper. He was proud to be called a Grim Reaper, right? But when they call him Moscow Mitch, the team pepper him for body.
Like I said, I try to be an astute scholar of history. I remember a time in this country that anything that had to remotely make you align with communism was as good as treason. You understand? Right? And then now you have this dude who's like all about Putin and Russia. I'm like, where are the communists, anti-communists then? Yeah? Who's in love with the guy from North Korea?
Well, the reason why this will not even change, even with legislation, is still back to the Supreme Court. Because the Supreme Court, I don't forget the case now.
Yep.
It says as long as police perceive threat, they can shoot to kill.
Exactly. But there's also a clause in the new legislation. I was talking about how cops should be made to stand trial, right? Now, and the interesting about this too is, sometimes house Negroes are also a detriment to this society. So the guy from South Carolina, the black congressman, I don't forget who he be.
Oh,
who's supposed to be the lead guy for the GOP, and the guy is saying no. That clause should be removed from from the legislature. I'm like, are you kidding me? So if you did something bad, you're supposed to be immune? No, you should stand trial like everybody else. You should stand trial. I mean, it's the same way where, you know, and I think something that was also visceral about that video, which I still refuse to watch, is the fact that this guy had his knee on somebody's neck, right? And then so-called the police that are supposed to protect themselves, that when they just stood around and were watching, they couldn't tell the guy to get up.